helping customers know that we're going to be there with them along this journey, that they have the insights of all of the other customers that we're working with. We're bringing that best practices to them based on real data, right? We're working with many other customers, and we bring those assets that they don't have access to.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is 𝘧𝘠𝘱𝘦𝘠𝘧, and I am the Chief Customer Officer and CEO for CSM Practice, the Customer Success Strategy Consulting firm. Today, I have Jennifer, who is the VP of Customer Experience and Customer Success at a company called MindBridge Ai. One of the reasons I was so excited in having her on the channel is because Jennifer has the unique experience of not only setting up customer success programs, but she's been creating them in a way that customers actually pay for the program. So she monetized the customer success program 4 times in the past few years. And I am so fortunate to have you here, Jennifer, today to share best practices and lessons learned.
Great. Thanks, 𝘧𝘠𝘱𝘦. Happy to be here today.
Before we start, I'd like to remind everyone, subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the great videos that we produce on customer success.
Yeah, so 4 times, Jennifer, tell me about that.
We started monetizing this. I remember we used to sell this many, many years ago. $40,000 a year was what we used to get for our premium support programs. And that really is where it was started. The success programs as they exist today, but nonetheless, it was the first, I was saying, was the foray into customer success where we were really trying to deliver proactive level services. And so I think that was when I first started doing this. So this was many, many years ago, and we made significant dollars from that. And, so I knew it would work. So then when I went into my next opportunity at Quest Software, this was really starting to take a step into the customer success world. I brought that same model here to MindBridge, and have really started to do the very same thing.
So you've done this for multiple companies. Some people that are watching this video are thinking, oh my gosh, what? I'm going to charge for it? Yeah. That's just such a daunting thought. So when you got to the newest company that you needed to set it up from the get-go, what are some of the first steps you do before you start to spring it on customers that now they need to pay for it? How do you accommodate for that risk?
A couple things. You really want to understand, is this the right customer? Not every product would lend itself necessarily to a monetized model. Once you've decided, is this really a product that fits or not? That's first question. And once you've determined, yeah, okay, this is, then the first thing I did was sit with customers, spend time with them, asking them, what's going on? How are you leveraging the product? What's working for you? What's not? I really wanted to get their input and speak with them.
So is that the only consideration? Do they have enterprise or a simple product in order to think, is monetization right for me, for my organization? Are there any other criteria you're thinking about before you decide that this would be a good fit?
Yeah, no, I think there's some other things. Where are you in your journey? Where is the customer in the journey of your organization? If you are a brand new company that's just getting started, probably not the right time to do this. You have to have some successes before you can just start charging for this. You want to have some successful customers deployed. So their, maturity level on your organization side is also going to be a key consideration.
Okay, so once you made those very simple decision, is it for me or not? Let's say I have an enterprise company and it's fairly mature. I think even some of the clients that I work with, they have premium support that kind of functions in a proactive way for CS. And then they think, well, I'm already charging for my technical account managers, as they're typically called. How am I going to justify for paying for that? Like, what are the main differences that you typically establish between the free or the bundled customer success service that you still want to have for the mid-market and the small size customers versus the ones that the larger companies or customers might be willing to pay for?
I'm all about creating a simple model, right? Be easy to do business with. That's my general theme. From an experience perspective, I want to be easy to do business with. So in many cases, if I was working for one of those mature organizations that did have one of those paid for TAM models of yesteryear, I'll call it, I would be looking to combine those functions together. I would be looking to make it simplified experience for the customer so that they weren't having to worry about paying for this or paying for that. So I have brought together the packages And the way that I've set this up is it all inclusive. So it's just not for customer success. It includes components for more premium level services on support, as well as education components as well. So looking to really kind of round out your package rather than trying to add on yet another flavor and nickel and dime your customers to death. So make it simple, make it easy for them to know that this is what they need to buy.
So it sounds like for companies that already have premium support, you essentially expanded the package, which I think is very smart because they're already are used to potentially buying a package. You're just augmenting it with customer success, education.
In my case, I'm not there yet, but it will be coming soon. And I needed a little more maturity on my services side before I was comfortable enough to add in some blocks of services. I'll call them blocks or banks of hours of services that I wanted to include as well. But, using that same vein on being easy to do business with, that's my next thing to tackle. You also get a block of hours with our professional services or implementation services teams that come with this as well. Again, just making it simple and as easy for customers as possible.
Because most organizations have those blocks of hours as an add-on. But if you feel like these complex enterprise companies that do business with you might already need some professional services, you might as well bundle 20, 50, 10 hours, however is the average, to be included, and then they don't need to think about it. If they need more than that, then they can do add-on, but other than that, for those companies that have been in business for 20, 30 years and they already have premium support, they now expand that package to include customer success. Do the TAMs become customer success? So is customer success management replacing the TAMs, meaning are we now expecting the customer success manager to function as the point person for all requests, to open support tickets or deal with escalations? Or is it now that we have two roles that, work with one another? How did you do it at your companies that you worked with so far, and what worked well for you?
For me, what I've seen work best is, yes, they're still separate roles. Business objectives or the goals of each of those groups is slightly different. And the audience that they tend to deal with can also be slightly different. The same way as you're starting to see the blending of a more traditional account management role on the sales side. So all of these things are starting to come together a little bit, and we're really trying to get clarity as leaders in this space. Where do we draw the lines? How do we draw the swim lanes so that, yes, we all have to work together on this. This is a challenge for every size organization. Where does support stop? Where does success start? Where does success stop, and where does account management take over? And I think it's a little bit different for everybody. Again, depending on your size, depending on your product, the complexity of your product, the maturity of your organization. So I don't think it's ever going to be something you just stamp, we're going to be good. The key here is that all three of those roles really need to work together effectively. It's a challenge in every size organization to do that, but they need to work together.
Well, one of the reasons I asked is because, customers that are used to have premium support and are not used to pay for customer success want that single point of contact. And that's why I asked that question, because now if you're generating another function that's called CSM, in addition to their premium support person, now the customer has two people that they can potentially approach. Does that create aggravation from clients? And if so, how did you resolve for that?
I have not seen that aggravation, and I think it's largely down to the roles and who you're working with. Oftentimes in the premium success on the TAM side or the technical account management side, there's a more technical resource that's assigned to that. And so you can still have that 1-to-1 ratio, where on the success side, it's typically more of the business user that you may be working with, or more of the leadership side that where you want to have, and you're working on, for me, the success programs that I've been building for many years are really focused around business objectives and adoption. And so, yes, there's some technical component to this. Everyone knows you have to have technical skills as success manager. But in my current world, my customer success managers are actually accountants. They have experience in auditing, whether they're a full-fledged CA or CPA, depending on the region. And some of them aren't, but they also have deep backgrounds in finance and accounting. It's a very skilled labor pool that I'm dealing with as my CSMs. They wouldn't make the strongest technical support agents because their technical skills are around accountancy, which is another very technical term, but not the kind of technical skills that we're used to in an enterprise software company. So I've got two teams of technical resources. Just one is more focused on, subject matter expertise, and one is really more platform and technology related, as we would typically see in an enterprise software company.
So you have established that there's going to be two roles, and this is really an add-on service. Did you then increase the price or the fees for the new bundle?
For here, where I am now, there wasn't any fees. So I introduced fees in general. Also the same in my past role, when I also introduced fees for any services and, would get the message, no one's going to pay for this, Jennifer. No one's going to pay for this. Yeah.
What did you do? How did you overcome this obstacle?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it is an obstacle. And I think that support from the leadership team right at the C level is really important, right? That really helped me in both cases. There was really strong support for this in my previous role, as is here. And quite honestly, I probably wouldn't work for an organization that didn't believe in the mission, right? So the mission is very important. In order to do that, everyone knows that you have to have funding to run a business. So they were very supportive of this. Obviously, putting together training, putting together pitch decks for the sales team so that they can have comfort in doing it. Standard, of course. But I think what really helped was actually doing it for them, right? And coming in and offering myself. I've sold these services for many, many years. Let me come to your account and pitch with you. And I will pitch this side and you will pitch the product. And together we make a solution. And so I became the sales team for that function. And it worked really, really well. And they only needed me a few times. In some cases, only once. Right? But they heard my language, they learned my talk track, and they got comfortable enough. And the next thing that really helped sell this was the customers themselves. Customers coming back to us and telling us, I can't live without these services. So that was the big seller.
If a new customer success executive is about to pitch this to customers, what did you say to them that they were so willing to then open their wallets and get that service?
A lot of what I'm doing is digital transformations or really introducing a new technology into an organization that didn't have it before. 70% of digital transformations fail. I don't want to be part of that statistic. I want to make sure that my customers are having really good success. I'm a certified change manager. I've spent a lot of time leading digital transformation changes as part of my career, and I'm very passionate about it. And so I know that my customer success managers have to be grounded in change management. They have to understand that their role is to help their customers adopt this new technology, which in many cases means changing the way they used to do things. And so I think by leading with that and helping customers know that we're going to be there with them along this journey, that they have the insights of all of the other customers that we're working with. We're bringing that best practices to them based on real data, right? We're working with many other customers, and we bring those assets that they don't have access to. Without having us with them on this journey, they don't have access to that. Yes, they can spend some time and go out and research some generic things on what they want, but they don't have access to that really tailored, specific guidance that we're going to be able to provide as a team. That is the real big piece that has helped customers really say, yeah, I need this. I need this service.
So to keep up with your promises to those clients, was some of the due diligence or work that you've done leading to selling customer success and well beyond, I'm sure, was to develop these processes, these collaterals that help CSMs, help customers being successful in teaching them change management, in teaching them how to embrace your technology?
100%. I call those accelerators, right? I think that Salesforce and a lot of other people use this term as well. We create, in addition to your standard sort of packages that you get access to these accelerators. And so, yes, there are things like change management accelerators. How do we come in and help you learn how to define change, prepare for the change, and manage the change and reinforce the change, right? Some of those concepts. So yeah, we put together accelerators around topics like that are really specific for our environment, tailored to our customers and what they need. And but you can do that with just about anything.
Jennifer, how did you decide how much to charge for the program?
The only thing in life, Arit, that we can't make more of is time. And I have a specific amount of time that I want my CSMs to be working. I don't want them working 12 hours, 14 hours a day. We know how much time we want them to work per day. We know how many hours there are in a day. So basically, there's just some simple math there around what does it cost me to run this department? How many hours are in the day? And you can do the math there. The other piece is really around spending time with those customers to understand how much time does that package require. So the smaller packages obviously require less time. Our premium services, we have more time with the CSM. And that's really the big differentiator in the cost, is really just covering that cost.
Sounds like you did a bottoms up and then validated it with the client.
Correct. Exactly right.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video and got some wisdom out of it and things that you might think you could go ahead and implement in your own organization, like this video, leave a comment to Jennifer. What did you take away from this video? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so that you can be the first one to hear about any new videos that we create. I'll see you at the next video.